And then show
Shaggy.
me how.
Hurry! There are nerds that need a podcast. Assemble the team.
It's podcast time! ABN!
Dane Benediction.
Twiz 13.
Whoa. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Here we are, the Alpha Nerds Guild podcast, episode 1717. I am your host, ABN, and follow along with me is the one and only Twiz13. How are you, sir?
What is going on, Chris?
It's going.
It's going. We got a lot of stuff to talk about this week.
We do. And moving on, we have the one and only Ronin Boy 00. How are you, sir?
I am very well. How are you?
Doing well. And last but certainly not least, the cameraless one and only Dean Oxhill Incorporated Patent Pending. How are you, sir?
I'm very well, thank you. How you doing? And to be honest, I'm on my phone on this podcast, so hopefully I will switch to cams shortly. But right now, you just have to deal with the minion.
It happens. It's
And
a good-looking
how
minion.
dare you? Well, just let me put this right there now. How dare you choose me last to introduce me last? I've been here for a while now, and I don't appreciate how I've been introduced last. Like, Ronin's been here for 2 episodes, and he gets a better introduction. How dare you?
All right. Well, we'll fix that next time.
You said
Hashtag
DC.
Dean first. Hashtag Dean first. We'll make sure to fix that for you.
Thank you.
You're very not welcome. But we're gonna talk a little bit about news that's going on. It's not really a whole lot of huge breaking news or anything like that. And then we're gonna move on to a couple of large open discussion topics that I think are a little bit more juicy, that I think everyone can enjoy.
Juicy.
That's right, juicy. And so, has anyone done anything of importance last week?
If you want.
Important.
Right. That's true. Level of importance essentially varies per the user, I guess.
Oh, very important in the sense watching Ready Player One twice in the past week. I call that pretty important stuff right there.
Well, there you go.
Like, that's classified. That is like GS. That's like Yankee White clearance. Like, that's even what the president gets. But I watched Ready Player One again and then again. So far I've seen it 3 times. I think I have a problem.
Fair enough.
Clearly.
It's not like you've watched the Deadpool trailer 5 times in a row since we told you that it did.
Hey,
Indeed.
that's not a problem. That's a good problem.
It's all about perspective.
You just don't understand. The first time you watched it... Okay, this is the way I see trailers. So I watch the trailer, I miss one thing or 2 things, and then I don't pay attention to it as much as I should. And then the second time, it's just for purposes of catching up to things I missed. Third is just perspective because it's just fucking epic. Number 4, just why the fuck not? And number 5, it's like, come on, it's Deadpool.
Apparently, we're not having a family-friendly episode this. Thanks, Dean.
Ooh, crap.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
This is why we can't have nice things.
Jeez, Dean. No, I had brought that up there, kind of a thing to talk about too, because I thought it was hilarious. Some of the meta jokes that are in there, like when he tells Cable, "Settle down, Thanos," and I just started cracking up, and I had to back it up and rewatch it because I was laughing so hard over that. And when that was dark. What are you, from the DC universe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so true and so hilarious.
Yeah, it definitely encapsulates what Deadpool is. It's perfect rendition. It can't be any better. It's rolled out perfectly.
Yeah, and then put it this way: Ryan Reynolds getting sued by
Wade Wilson.
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds will be sued by DC Universe later on today for making jokes
That's
about
fine.
DC. We'll probably go.
That's fine because
I'll probably
Deadpool
make
2
more
is
money
going to
than
make
I
more than
normally do.
enough money for that. So
Deadpool 2 is gonna make more money than Justice League.
And
absolutely,
Green Lantern.
they'll be able to buy
There's no
DC
secret
because
there,
of
man.
it.
There's no secret there. I think Deadpool 2 will probably make more money than Avengers, to be honest. But I'm probably
I don't
wrong.
know about
At-
that, dude. You're
no,
wrong
that's-
on that one.
That's hard.
No, on
You're-
opening week, they usually make a rough. Deadpool's made more money. It's just opening week I'm talking, not all around.
Hmm.
Around, I think Avengers will win, like in the box office wise, but on opening week, Deadpool
What's up,
always destroys them.
But Avengers, which if you didn't know, is coming out next week. So,
Thursday for us. Yeah.
Yeah, so pay attention to that, ladies and gentlemen. There is, like I said, there is
remember,
some
all your
small.
email at Dean Knoxhill.
That's right. I at dnoxhill.com LLC, Pet Penny, Incorporated. The small news, like
That's
I said,
one
nothing
alone,
huge. First thing, if you pay attention to the industry at all, you'll notice that there's a lot more companies buying up other companies. So your EAs, your Activisions, they're acquiring all the smaller ones. Valve went ahead and acquired Firewatch's developer Campo Santo. And then In the Valley of the Gods is their current game, Campo Santo, and they essentially just let that continue on, so they're not stopping them. It's a growing trend that we're seeing. You saw it kind of with Activision acquiring in a way Blizzard, but then at the same time just adding them to the title, so it's Activision Blizzard instead of just completely, absorbing them and then still letting them do their own thing. So that I think that's going to become more common. Moving on, talking about God of War one more time because you can't move anywhere around this place, the industry at all, without seeing 7-8 articles just on God of War alone. Obviously the reviews were absolutely top notch. If you haven't been seeing it on my stream or anybody else's, it is absolutely gorgeous. Gameplay is so fluid. It is a really, really great game and has brought the franchise back to where it needs to be. And that will segue to one of our big things a little bit later. But pretty much all the major developers out there have essentially come out and patted God of War on the back to say, great job. So it's one thing when all the developers from all these other companies, you got Microsoft and everyone jumping out and saying congratulations to them, which, says a lot. Makes me feel good about the community, or the industry, I should say, when they do something like that, because that's the way it used to be. It used to be more like that. You had more people, congratulating each other back and forth more often. Now it's more or less everybody's trying to pit each other against each developer, like it's something like that, like we're some sports team or something. But when you have, all the way down to the Emmy Award-winning composer Bear McCreary writing the soundtrack for your video game, it was an amazing recipe. Anybody, hey, Ronan, you've seen it. What do you think about it so far? Is it worthy of the praise it's getting?
And more. I'm not usually one to go all fanboy on stuff, and I hate being that guy that's like, I'm gonna buy the system for that one thing, but I'm gonna buy that system for God of War. Absolutely, hands down. The game is it's gorgeous on every front. It exceeds every expectation I had for it. And just watching it on your stream has been just some of the things that they're doing with it is just
Indeed,
mind-blowing. And I think the one thing that really got me was, like, most games lately have done, like, having a protagonist sidekick. Completely wrong. Take Resident Evil 4 with the president's daughter. Every 2 minutes it was like, Leon, save me, just shut up, you little brat. And this genuinely feels like a father and a son fighting for each other. This feels like a natural, just fluid relationship in the game, and nothing in it feels forced at all. Which is a huge miracle in gaming, because anytime you have that tag along sidekick, you know, you feel like Indiana Jones or Short Round. Okie dokie, Dr. John. You know,
Right.
just
Yeah, absolutely useless sidekick
amazing.
that doesn't really
yeah,
add anything to the story or the gameplay, or makes the gameplay worse because you have to go out of your way to do something with it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why I definitely love that part. It's he's there, you don't really have to chase after him, you don't have to do extra special things out of your way. It makes the story feel more fluid, and it gives you a reason to why you're playing the game. The story is absolutely amazing so far. Because I haven't finished it yet, but it's, man. Twiz, you watched some of it. How are your feelings?
Well, when we talked last week, you asked me what my thoughts were going to be on the new God of War, and I said, yeah, I really didn't have an opinion one way or the other, because I'm not really, number one, a PlayStation person. Number two, it just seemed really hack and slash and just kind of a button masher, which I'm not much of a fan of those games either. But I was enthralled watching the gameplay. It was just absolutely beautiful. It looked like most games, the gameplay itself looked like most game cinematics.
Yeah.
It was just that fluid and just that beautiful. So I was blown away. It made me wish I had the money to drop on a PS4 so that I could pick this game up just to play this game. I don't, so I won't. I'll stick to my Fortnite for now. But yeah, it's just, I think it's deserving of all the praise that it has received. And then, like Ronan said, and then some, without a doubt. Now, I don't know what the Aussie thinks, but that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, Dean, why don't you give us the perspective from the other side of the world?
From the other side of the world, radio, I will. Like everyone has said, it's got all the praise it deserves. 3 years in the making. Let's put it out there right now. This game was 3 years in the making, because that's the last time we got a God of War, if we count the remaster, unless we count the Vita series as well. But that's been 3 years in the making, in the good sense of, like, taking time to make the game great, not rush it, release it, and then have so many problems like any other game that's been released in the past couple of years, you know?
Yeah.
But 3 years in the making, I can't say anything wrong with the game. To be honest, it feels just too good for me to even play on the PlayStation. You know, like I can only imagine what it would do in the market if it went to PC.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't been so hyped to play games since probably Skyrim, when Skyrim first came out. And thinking to myself, going, holy shiz, this is a game I want.
Well, Keith wanted to let you know
know?
that apparently it's been banned in Australia. So,
Of course it has. I haven't picked it up yet, Steve. Thanks for letting me know.
Rip God of War in Australia.
Of course, we get the punishment every time when it comes to games. But luckily, I got these American folks here that can probably shoot me a copy.
Yep. So yeah, I think.
No, but seriously, I have not been that excited for a game probably since Skyrim, and like I haven't played it as much. Horizon Zero Dawn, even. That's another flawless game itself.
Yeah, I think.
You know, and
yeah, as an intellectual IP on its own, Horizon Zero Dawn is strong. But God of War it's one of those things. I mean, we'll talk more about this particular thing because it's very specific to what the point I want to make about it. But it's it's a very specific kind of thing that's going on there. And I mean, if y'all want to, we can just go ahead and move into that. And
let's do it.
Yeah. What I was going to segue into is, are games getting better or worse? And the reason I bring this up is because things like God of War where the game was super hype and it hit all the right notes. You could just feel that it was a synergy within the team that just put something together that they're super passionate about. I don't know if y'all seen the video. The director of the game has a video of him looking at all the reviews it got and pretty much just bawling his eyes out about it because he's so happy that it got such a high score. Like when you see stuff like that, I think that starts to set it apart. But I feel we kind of have a dual threat going on. Our game's getting a lot better, yes, but I think we also, in the same note, they are also getting worse.
Absolutely, and I think part of what is going on is there's a little bit of cronyism. No one wants to be that guy because I used to for a while there. I mean, a little back up so I can give a little explanation for the way I see things, way I'm viewing this.
Mm-hmm.
For a while I worked for a website where I reviewed comics. And I'd be sent free copies of comics. I get to read them, and then I'd write a review. And every now and again, I'd get sent one that was absolute crap. I mean, just unreadable. Just you read and you're like, this is crap.
Mm-hmm.
So I wrote to my editor. I said, well, okay, I feel bad because this, I really want to be nice to these people because they're really nice people, but this book is just garbage. He said, just don't review it then. So I think what's going on a lot of times is the people that are iffy on a book, on a game,
mm-hmm.
just like when I was iffy on a book, they just don't say anything. They're it goes to the principle of if you have nothing nice to say nothing at all. But I think as someone, and I later on got the mindset of I kind of have a responsibility. People are listening to my opinion on a book, or in this case, a game. It's my responsibility to say, you know what? I'm sorry, this game is trash. Save your money.
Mm-hmm.
Save your time. And I don't think there's enough people that are bold enough out there to say, hey, you know what? This game is not what you think it is. And so only the really good reviews are getting pushed through or even getting published or getting looked at. So I don't know that the games are getting worse. I think they've kind of, a lot of places have plateaued,
mm-hmm.
and they're making decent money, and so no need to stretch it out to the God of War level. I mean, these suckers are going to buy this game regardless. Let's just do what we want to do and move on from there.
Yeah, I mean, Michael Van Osta actually just messaged us. Too many games today are trying to capitalize on the current models. You will have a hit here and there, but so many don't take the genre to the next level and bomb out, whether it's graphics, story, or limited content. So that's exactly what you were saying. And
they don't add anything to it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at PUBG. Well, technically Fortnite comes out first. PUBG comes along and they really kind of innovate,
mm-hmm.
and they really set that up. But then Fortnite really breaks loose, and they add that extra element of building,
mm-hmm.
Build a base, and they add this extra element. So these two have really, they're innovating. And now everyone else wants to jump into the whole battle royal thing. I mean, I realize H1N1 was the first one, really. Is it H1N1 or is it H1Z1?
H1Z1?
Yeah. H1N1. What is it? That's a disease, isn't it?
Yeah.
So is from everything I've ever heard, H1Z1 is a disease as well, but whatever.
Right. No judgments here.
No judgments. but these games are innovating on top of each other to the point where both of them become insanely popular, whereas PUBG is still really buggy. Fortnite is constantly, they're doing patch updates, they're doing cheater blocks, they're finding ways to keep people from cheating, whereas PUBG is not making those innovations, not making those strides, at least so far. And we're seeing PUBG's popularity starting to dip,
mm-hmm.
while Fortnite's popularity is it's skyrocketing. It's getting ridiculous to where sometimes there's a wait to get on a server.
Yeah.
But
that's why you have guys like Ninja right now with 500,000 today watching him in Las Vegas. So
I think Ninja's getting bored of Fortnite though.
I,
You ever watch his stream? You can tell he's kind of bored of it because here I go again.
well, yeah, it's the same. It's literally the same thing over and over. Sometimes quickly, sometimes not so quickly. So I can understand. But what's your thoughts, Ronan?
Well, to the original question,
Mhm.
which is what's happening with the industry. Our biggest problem right now is they're really pushing this agenda of getting as many AAA games as they can out without actually putting any heart into them, which
Mhm.
is why I think God of War is excelling so hard right now. The fact that you saw a grown man break down and cry at something that he made being reviewed so well by so many people, it really speaks to how deep the game came from him.
Mhm.
On the other hand, we have these companies like EA and Activision and Blizzard pumping out games that, yeah, they're good, they're fun,
Mhm.
but there's no real substance to them, and they're a flash in the pan, and then they're gone. And right now, Sea of Thieves is a great example. You had a company, Rare, that was known for making, Donkey Kong Country and, Diddy Kong Racing and all those other amazing games, Banjo-Kazooie, Conker's Bad Fur Day. And they produced this rushed pirate game
Mhm.
that just fell apart. How many of the alpha nerds have we seen now? Just as in the guild, just in that little small community right now. Well, not small, we're pretty big now, but
Mhm.
it's getting bigger. But relatively speaking, we're still growing.
Right.
How many people have we seen openly state, "I made a mistake buying this game"?
Yeah. Yeah.
I,
It's a trap.
Nearly,
that's what it is.
yeah, nearly the
And I
half of
think
us.
exactly, and I've seen the same problem with PUBG. I've seen a lot of the same people say, well, PUBG is fun, I like PUBG, but they're not doing anything with it. And it's like, it's like Twiz said, it could be an amazing game. It could be like, what everybody wanted Call of Duty and Battlefield to be if they would work on it properly.
Mhm.
So instead of producing better patches, better content, better hitboxes, better game syncing and team building, experiences, they're like, oh hey, here's a mobile version and here's a patch and we might work on it later.
Mhm.
While Fortnite is actively opening the forums and saying, what do you want? This is what we need to do. And I hate to bang the gong of Fortnite because I hate being that fanboy, but I would rather go and play a game. Yeah, I would rather go to a company and play a game that actually listens to what I'm saying.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, so Dean, what's your position?
Without a question, I agree with you guys 100%. Like, I'm not saying that games are getting terrible, but I'm not saying games are getting good either. They're in the middle right now, in between the middle of making some great games and then some filth.
Yeah.
Sea of Thieves makes that example of the crap pile. Rush, that didn't bother making anything adjusting to the point of going, this is what we're going to expect to happen if it is. They were overhyping the game to the point thinking it's going to be big, it's going to be huge, it's going to be huge.
Mm-hmm.
And then it ended up being filth. That is why so many companies are still going to that direction of making remakes. Like, okay, I'm probably one of the people here, or even probably there's probably more of us who's going out of the way to spend $60 or $100, depending on where you are in the world, to buy the remaster of Crash Bandicoot or the remaster of Spyro.
Yeah.
I'm more keen to buy those remakes than something that is a brand new game like Sea of Thieves or whatever. Like, the only game that I want to buy right now is God of War, but now that it's banned, I'm gonna have to wait until. I'm not gonna get
Tails out of their
in,
backsides.
yeah, until we get a government. Well, not to blame the government because that's not what I'm trying to do. Trying to get an organization that allow us to play the game and stop restricting us because some people don't want to be not to put it on the parents or whatever, but I'm sick and tired of getting punished.
Yeah.
You know, like I want to go out to the shops now and buy God of War, but no, because I'm the right age, I can't buy the game and I can't play the game because we have people who are in charge of this country that keeps on restricting us, going, no, we're not going to let you play. It's the same crap all over again.
Yeah. Well, I think, I think everybody on the same sheet of music, that you have, this is what I think some of it's coming from. So some of these sequels that we've had, and they've been absolute trash. They're trying to play off the nostalgia from a previous version of the game, kind of like God of War Ascension, because God of War Ascension was absolute trash, and it was playing off the hype of the previous one. And then you jump to this God of War, and they left all that to the side and just said, this is what we're going with, and it came out so much better. It's not so much just playing upon just the God of War, just the mantra of whatever the original series was. It's innovating with the new series, and that's probably why, like, I'm a Legend of Zelda fanboy, because Breath of the Wild to me was absolutely mind-boggling on how they were able to do it and where they came out with that. And they do it every single time. They innovate and completely change it every single time. But at the same time, the formula is still the same. So you have the same characters, the same basic premise, whole completely different video game.
Well, not every time. I mean, Spirit Tracks was pretty bad.
Well, your Phantom Hourglass to your Spirit Tracks in the downfall or the adult timeline is, you're either on one camp or you're in the other, right? You either I hate you all or I love it too much camp. So, but that I use them as an example only because it's such a it's since 1986, right? It's been going since then. It's a really good example to use. Or how games like Warcraft are able to just continually innovate over time. A lot of it stems from, like y'all said, with community involvement. I think that's the only reason Warcraft's been going on for over a decade. It's massive community involvement. There's some of the loudest in the world, obviously, the very loud community, but that is very key. The other part is obviously not rushing anymore, but I do think on top of that rushing, I think part of it, just think about it not too long ago. Not too long ago, you would find out about new video games on maybe a website, but most of the time, your magazines and your commercial announcements. Now in today's age of information, we get entire games leaked well before they're advanced, and we're so impatient now that we want to know everything about this game before they even get to a part where it even looks like a game.
And that's a double-edged sword, of course, because I mean, on one hand, we have more information to the people, but on the other hand, we don't know where a lot of that information's coming from.
Tired of the people.
Right? And I think, again, Sea of Thieves is a wonderful example of this. You had people that were being literally paid to write amazing reviews of a beta and an alpha that hadn't even been released yet, and they were talking about content that wasn't even available within the final build.
Yeah.
Well, not even final build. It's still technically, in the build. Yeah.
So stupid.
And you go back and you read some of these reviews and you're like, okay, where's this? Where's the midship battles? Okay, so you can do it on the high seas, but you got two people just circling around each other instead of these big, warlike scenarios that they were talking about. And that's because everyone got on the first couple weeks and then they were like, wow, this sucks, and they bailed.
Yeah. It was
pretty much.
I think it was the in-game content. That's
absolutely, or lack thereof.
Yeah, they said, here's a cool game, you can run around and just do stuff. And that's it.
No, they rushed it. They rushed the game. They didn't finish it. They didn't do anything to listen to people when they came down to finishing off. Like, they were more eager to get the game out, get some money coming in, than finishing the game what they started with.
And that
They were
nails it on
more
the head.
happy to. Yeah, and it hit them right in the head. Because the thing is, it's more, you go out of your way to release a game, you're gonna bound to have some problems.
Yeah, and you said it exactly.
Regardless.
It was what they wanted and not what the people wanted. It's the ego of these companies now, and that's the big word right there is ego.
Mm-hmm.
Blizzard fell victim to this during some of the Warcraft expansions where they were like, "You don't know what you want. We're going to tell you what you want," and people went whack. Nope.
You want pandas.
Yeah.
Furries.
No, but that's the thing. Even with Blizzard doing that, in that sense, with Blizzard doing that this whole time, I still respect Blizzard as a game developer, because even though they always go, you don't know what the hell you want, we're going to give it to you. They still surprise me every time and give me what they want without even me asking for it.
Yeah.
But companies, other companies like Activision, and not to take stabs at just Activision, there's some of them that just go, here's a game, half finished, and we'll promise you we'll fix it, but they never do.
Yeah.
And this is the same saga, like with the news of this week. I'm not sure, we were speaking about it on the last podcast, how Call of Duty is gone to the direction of going, yeah, we're not going to bother with single player anymore. We'll just give you multiplayer.
Mm-hmm.
But people are still going to go out and spend $100 on just multiplayer. Why would you do that? Some people want the story, also the multiplayer. Like, I'm not going to be in good conscience go spend $100 on a game based on I'm only going to get a multiplayer. If that's the case, I might as well keep my previous Call of Duties. I'm not going to go spend $100 on just multiplayer experience.
Yeah, because it's different. Because some people buy Call of Duty specifically for the multiplayer. Other people want to play both. You should have to.
I'm one of those.
You need a pick. You know what I mean? You got to pick where you're going with it.
Well, this is the one time I love what Rockstar did, because GTA 5 Online took a while to release because they had a lot of problems.
Mm-hmm.
They still have a lot of problems, but they still add to this. They still try their hardest to fix what they've gave us, even after all this time.
Yeah.
Like Sea of Thieves just pretty much handed in the towel, going, "Yeah, we're done. We don't care anymore. You bought the game. We don't really give two shits what you do." Sorry for my language, guys, in this podcast. I do apologize. But yeah, just apologize.
Remember,
if there's any
all concerns, complaints, and offenses go to @Dean Oxhill at Discord.
Correct.
Yes, if you guys do have a problem with me swearing, please let me know. I do apologize if you guys are in that frame of mind that you do feel like I shouldn't. Please let me know. But honestly,
it's kangaroo meat, but it's the kangaroo meat.
Yeah, it's really
kangaroo meat's awesome.
The argument I'll make for Blizzard, like I'll kind of get into Blizzard's corner. Even when they did Mists of Pandaria, the raids were actually really great. The storyline wasn't as good, but at the same time, the way Blizzard does it is not like every other company, right? Blizzard will actually come back and they read all the feedback as it goes, and then they spend all the time during the entire expansion trying to make it better as it goes while working on the future content. So they have that down to a science. That's why it's been, that's why it's still the most successful MMO of all time, and we'll probably continue.
Exactly, that's why people like myself included. That's why I still spend money on the game.
Yeah,
that's why Blizzard always have that love and hate relationship. There'll be times I'll get off WoW for 6 months, and then I'll come back for.
Yeah,
and like I'll never stop playing. But the thing is, games like World of Warcraft, the way they keep on adding and adding and adding, you can spend 6 months off the game.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll be glad you did it, but at the same time, you'll be going, "Holy crap! I missed out on so much in 6 months."
Yeah,
this is of how much they've added.
Yeah, this is the funny part about it. When you look at it, you got to think this is DLC essentially, right? X packs were, like DLC, and people spend money for the time to play and the expansions because and people don't question it. We all buy it because we know what we're getting. And they've proven it time and time again that they're going to give the amount of content required of the money I'm spending. Versus a lot of games nowadays are, getting the kind of left and right limits. We barely make it within those left and right limits as far as the game is concerned. And then we kind of give you something else around here to kind of change your concept or, make you buy this or make you want this along the way. And it's absolutely frustrating because it's not so much player centric. It's not so much, is this game fun? Is this story good? Is the gameplay going to keep you coming back? Something like Sea of Thieves, you would think they should have been in a boardroom sitting saying something along the lines of, how are people going to keep coming back? Because just floating around in the ocean picking something up is not good enough.
Well, it wasn't just that. In what frame of mind can you tell me this now, that people are going to turn around and trust them as a company, trust them in the direction they're going at? Because if you can honestly say they're looking at that right now, a month after the game's been released, how the hell can you actually turn around now and go, we are still going to go out and buy your game? And the only thing in the right frame of mind, which they've added a couple of days ago and right now, from my friend who was telling me, the only thing they've added in is customizations to your ship. That's the only thing they've added in the last couple of days. They have future content, yeah, but at the same time, they need to fix what's broken now.
Yeah.
Or you're not going to have a company to run. You're not going to have you're not going to have a person that's going to go out and buy that game.
It's true.
Like, the fact is, I'm very fussy when it comes to my games. Like, I give a game I'll play for a half an hour. If I don't like it within half an hour, I will just walk out, return it.
Yeah.
I'm not much of a guy that I like buying brand new. I don't like buying pre-owned. I like the whole feel of removing the clear wrap and taking it home, having those first-time experiences with the game, as you do. But if this is the direction they're going to get at, they're not going to have anyone really left to buy their games. Like, I don't know what they've done since the early 2000s, because it's the same developer as Perfect Dark.
Mm-hmm.
And Perfect Dark was just amazing.
Yep, it was an amazing
game. You guys
game.
remember that. And Perfect Dark was just one of those games that you can go back to, like, have fun with your mates on the 64, or even, I'm pretty sure they even had it on the Xbox 360 at one point.
Yeah.
But
that's an excellent point. It's developers being lazy. It's developers not really taking the care, and it might just be their business models for all we know. It might just be that particular company's business models and their goal setting not executing correctly, because that's what it feels like, right? It seems when you go to an E3 or you watch an E3 and you see a game trailer and it looks absolutely awesome, something like Sea of Thieves. The trailer was great, right? You see it and you're like, that actually looks really cool. Yeah. Because that's kind of what the trailer's supposed to do, is generate the interest. And then after that, there was no execution. That's just complete lack of execution. It's like they kind of just went, let's do whatever, we'll just do stuff and things. And that,
and your money, family.
Yeah, do your thing. But to be honest with you, I'm just going to say this right now. If you're going to release a game, stop screwing us around. Stop putting us in the position of because the thing is, man, this is the thing. This is what's really doing me in the reason I'm so annoyed is more the fact that how overhyped and how good they make the game look. And yes, no one is forcing me to go out and buy the game.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, I'm happy to give back to the company where they deserve credit. But the fact that they over-marketed the game to the point of saying, this is going to be the game of the year, this is going to have everything you want in a game. And then it's like,
falls on its face.
Don't release something that's half finished. Don't go out of your way to make a game. Because the thing is, man, 9 out of 10 people who buy a game look at the reviews first. And if the reviews are decent, they'll go out and buy the game. The reviews were paid. done by someone that was paid to do a review on a game that they've never played.
Yeah, and that's
As
where I
where I
think
mean-
that's another double-edged
And
sword
that is
you just
where I
bring up.
draw the line.
Yeah, because
That is where I draw the line. I'm not going to give back to, like, honestly, the only way they can convince me to buy another game, regardless if it's going to be terrible in that sense,
uh-huh.
is if they remake Conker's Bad Fur and they do a rare replay on the PS4. Like, I know they won't because they've only really partnered up with Microsoft and Nintendo. Well, Nintendo in the past, Microsoft now. But the only way you can convince me to buy another thing from this company as the developers is if they do a rare replay for the PS4. And then in that rare replay, we'll have Conker's Bad Fur as well.
Yeah.
That is the only way you will see me go and give money to them ever again. Because at this rate, they keep on leading us on thinking we're going to get a great game. And then the fact that they've gone to the direction of going, here you go, guys, do us a review and we'll pay you a shitload of money, but just keep quiet. And then if people never spoke up, who knows what would have been.
Yeah, that's why I think this is what's happening. Your IGNs and stuff like that, they're essentially just used for marketing. That's pretty much what it's turned into. They use those 10 out of 10, 5s out of 5s. Some of them a little more, you take them with a little more gravitas than the others. But they're essentially marketing ploys now. Where everyone goes is their individual content creator, somebody they kind of feel has a like mind of their own, and they wait for that person to either get a copy or do the review. And that's where the medium's moving. So you're gonna see, I'll bring up Ninja only because he's like the one end of the spectrum, right? The high end of the spectrum. You have somebody like that can essentially just come out there, throw a video out there, and get more viewers and impact more than an entire company and an entire team of people that have been, in the business for a while. And that just kind of shows where everything's going because everybody's kind of tired of, getting fed. And that's why I think something like when Breath of the Wild came out, if y'all didn't notice, there was actually a string of 1 ratings on Metacritic that people were actually trying to knock its rating down on purpose because essentially for that reason they felt that the IGNs of the market were just jumping in like they're trying to Nintendo fanboy it, which Nintendo's not the same. They don't really operate the same way. They're not giving you a copy if you're going to guarantee some kind of amazing review. They don't want to give you one if they're going to say, "Hey, we're going to burn down your company." But they're not as bad. They're not paying them off. Because there's been a lot of terribly rated Nintendo games. I mean, come on, the entire Wii U cycle. Yeah.
Oh yes, absolutely. I agree with you 100%. There has been some terrible Nintendo games, but are they getting paid to mock up reviews?
Not for an intellectual property like The Legend of Zelda. And that's why I think everyone got that wrong. It's not because I'm a fanboy. Breath of the Wild has its problems. Its frame rate issues were absolutely atrocious in the beginning of the game when it first came out. They patched it twice, and it's still not great. I would have wanted them to.
Great, but the thing is,
well, I wanted them to remove the grass because the grass is really what does it. The frame rates, the grass in the open world really affects the gameplay. Because when you're in you go to the forest to get the Master Sword, stuff like that, and it really affects the frame rates. So I have my issues with the game, but the overall experience was worthy of what it got. Because it was true, even though they didn't want to call it open world because they didn't want to compare it to a Western game. Because it really wasn't. It wasn't like a Skyrim. It wasn't like anything else. It was its own thing. It was open air. You could start and finish the game in any way you wanted. But because for a while there, people had a really big hatred for Nintendo. I think it was because of the Wii U, but the backlash on Breath of the Wild was absolutely ridiculous. Which that's just a good comparison for me. That kind of brings it to the double-edged sword.
In that comparison, I see where you're coming from, but at the same time, you started with the Legend of Zelda series from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously there is always going to be that backlash that what you like because you've been there from the beginning.
Yeah.
If you
Sure.
were one of those people that had started halfway through the big series and just went, okay, this is crap, like I don't like it, blah blah blah, then it'll be a different story,
Yeah, it was just done in a different way. But I think that segues us into the other big topic, because that kind of the whole going against the rating is kind of indicative of something going on. Twiz, what is that? What is going on?
Oh, you mean the thing I wanted to talk about?
Yeah, the thing you want to talk about.
It's kind of a heavy subject. Maybe we should hold off because we're drawing towards the end of the show, right? So, and I think I think it's a topic of discussion that deserves a lot more than what we're gonna be able to say in 5 minutes. But let me just throw this out there for everyone out there who's listening to think about. And one of the things I want to talk about, and we'll get to it on a future episode. Just so we have the time to give it the optics and the time it deserves, is the toxic community within the nerd culture in general, specifically within the gaming community, and how I'm starting to see it more and more build up into the Fortnite community. As when I first started playing Fortnite, it was just everyone having a good time and having a laugh. It was, about the memes and doing goofy stuff that you couldn't do in PUBG and everything else. But now it's starting to become more and more toxic. I'm seeing more and more people that are gotta get the win, gotta get my kill ratio up. Who cares? It's a video game. Have fun.
The damn video games.
Damn video games. Exactly. So I wanted to talk about the toxic communities that are within some of the nerd cultures. I know right now both video games have had a long running battle with and against toxic communities, and now it's really starting to seep into like comic books, and I'm sure other nerd cultures also deal with. Can we just go ahead and put it out there? Magic the Gathering is just in general a toxic community.
Absolutely.
That is a toxic environment itself. Like, that shit ruins friendships.
Yeah, it's like Mario Kart ruins friendships.
Like Monopoly. Monopoly, another example. Monopoly.
I was gonna say, Magic the Gathering, I think, may be more toxic than Monopoly.
That's probably true.
It really is.
Yeah.
That's absolutely. I 100% agree with you.
I'm always kind of shocked that we've never heard of a mass shooting that stemmed from a Magic the Gathering game.
That's that. I can't argue with that.
Being serious.
I can't argue. I completely understand where you're coming from, and that makes complete sense.
I mean, and the reason why it really came up to me is I normally play with the same small group of people on Fortnite. Ronan's played with me a couple times now, and hopefully I'd love for him to hook up with the other friends that I have, because
totally.
We're all about just having fun, and whatnot. And so before I go much further, I got to do this because I know they've now become fans of the podcast. I got to throw a big shout out to Sneaky McSparkles and Princess Kitty. What up, guys? But they're a blast. We know we're not the best players. We're probably not going to get the victory royale. We're not going to get 15 kills in a game with the most amazing structures built throughout the fight. But we are going to have a blast, and we're going to laugh while we're doing it. We're going to boogie bomb each other while we're trying to sneak up on something, or even use a shot grenade to knock someone else off the mountain and laugh at them as we run down and res them real quick and give them the med kit that we just picked up because it was funny. So that's what I would like to think the gaming community is supposed to be about, is having fun. But now I'm starting to, I've been a little sick, so I've been on weird times playing. So I'm playing with like complete randos, and it's just so toxic, and people are just so greedy. Give me that loot. All the loot's mine, and it's just like, really?
Yeah.
Really, this is how you play? I mean, this is fun for you?
It's definitely not limited. It does not have a limiting factor. It's in just what we talked about. It's in Magic. It's in the comic industry. It's not just the books. It's comic industry, the gaming industry.
Your boy Zach.
Yeah, the anime industry. I mean, you could go on and on and on. If it's a nerd topic, there are people out there that are just making it absolutely toxic and just unlivable. and it's not limited to any particular mindset either. That's the funny part.
Yeah, and it's not any one particular political or social economical view.
Right.
I mean, it's both sides. It's both sides of the political spectrums in comic books. I know this because I do watch Diversity in Comics. I love his channel. I love Comic Secret Pros with Ethan Van Sciver. But at the same time, I watch some of these other people that are on the other spectrum of it. I have lots of friends that are very left leaning that do podcasts and stuff from the other side of the spectrum. That they're all just so toxic to the point where, and that's really the reason I left Twitter. I haven't been on Twitter in like weeks now.
Yeah,
that
place is a cesspool.
It is an absolute, and I used to be part of it. I'm not gonna lie, I used to be that cesspool, but now it's just become just so.
It gets old.
Auto banning you if you are following someone. There are certain creators out there. If you are following one person. You may have just liked something they said. Yeah, I'm going to follow them because I just got to see what they. I can't believe they said, "No, let me follow them." I have a friend on Facebook that's like that. I follow him and I keep him on my friends list because I got to see what this guy's going to come up with next.
Yeah.
No, dude, legit. He is a French Nazi with cerebral palsy, and I legitimately had to explain to him, dude. You know Adolf Hitler would have had you killed, right? He's like, oh, well, like, no, dude. you wouldn't be alive.
Details.
Give us those details.
I keep him around not because I enjoy the things he said, but it's like the old Howard Stern thing. I got to see what this guy's going to come up with next. I got to hear what he's going to say next because it's just the most off-the-wall stuff.
Yeah. So why don't we do it this way? How about Wednesday? We essentially try to dedicate as much of the show to that topic, and whoever listens to this, whether you're watching us live or you have us in your ear holes on iTunes or SoundCloud or whatever, go on the Discord, get a hold of us individually, let us know what you think. What community are you in? What have you seen? What do you think the problem is? Get everyone kind of come together so we have this, maybe we can figure this out. And maybe help everyone find a direction to get out of the woods, if you will.
And I want to make sure I want to make it clear real quick. I need to make sure I make this clear. I just have to think of this. I do not support Nazi ideology. I am not a Nazi. I do not agree with their views. So please don't call me one because we will have a fight, literal fight about that one.
Find me in real life then.
Like real life, I'll fly to Australia and kick
Catch me outside. How about that?
Right.
Come on, bring it.
That's what'll happen.
Bring it on.
But yeah, if you can go on the Discord and the Alpha Nerds Guild and the text group that has podcasts, you can drop it in there. You can, like I said, you can get a hold of us individually, whether it's through social media or streams or however you find us, track us down, let us know. So we can compile them all, talk about them on the show.
Note to the neck of a kangaroo and
whatever, carrier pigeon, carrier hawk, carrier wyvern. I don't know. On the back of a Magic the Gathering card, whatever, dude. How
fight over that.
Or you can send me an old-fashioned letter.
Or you could attach it to the back of a copy of God of War PS4 for Dean.
Yes.
And Australians can read?
Indeed.
Hey, Dean, I tell you what, I'll make you a deal. I will send you a copy of God of War 4 to Australia.
Let me guess. I have to play Fortnite with you.
No. You have to say the phrase that pays.
Oh, my God.
Oh, man.
I'll never sell out. Not on live stream.
A dingo ate my baby!
I will never sell out. Even though I sold out my last technically wasn't on live stream, so but that's just later.
But I think on that note, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, if you got anything, let us know. We'll bring this up on Wednesday's podcast. You can catch us around the same time Make sure to check out the Facebook group. Make sure to go to alphanerdsguild.com. Go wherever you got to go. Check us out in all our different locations. If you don't know by now, then hey, just let us know in the comments below, somewhere at some place at some time. But for me and the rest of the Alpha Nerds Guild podcast, we will see you next time.
Peace.